Hey everyone, I'm Corey Wagner, and today I'm at the Texas Medical Center of Innovation, and we're taking over Project MedTech's LinkedIn to showcase their Startup Symposium. So I'll be taking you guys along from breakfast to happy hour. We'll be seeing things like startup pitches, as well as discussions from regulatory folks, serial entrepreneurs, angel investors, and everything in between. Let's get into the fun. Okay, so we're starting off with a delicious little breakfast, and I gotta say, I have had some conference breakfasts before where all they do is set out, like, you know, your classic bagels and cream cheese. I love these little, I'm not exactly sure what this mini muffin is, but it looks delicious. And then this beautiful, what appears to be chocolate-filled, well, let's see, is this chocolate-filled croissant? Oh, you better believe it. But this isn't a food conference, this is a MedTech conference, so let me give you just my first thoughts on the space. I've been to the Texas Medical Center of Innovation before, so having this been my third time, I feel like I've got a good grasp on what makes this just location a pretty cool thing. I think the best thing about this, and maybe this just fits perfectly with what Project MedTech's trying to do with these symposiums, is it's just an inviting space. It's a huge, giant, massive conference room where we can do all these big discussions and have all these big panel groups, but also having these rows of small office spaces that people can dip into for a couple of reasons. You need to take a call, you need to answer some emails, no big deal, peel off and do your thing. Or more importantly, you come to this conference and you meet someone that you think there's a good opportunity for a partnership in, or you guys think you can help each other out in whatever way. It's a great place that you can kind of pull off to the side, have a quick discussion during one of the networking times. I know a big part of these conferences for people is networking, so having a space where you can have that networking happen and not have it be this strict, stringent thing, it kind of opens things up for people to have conversations and meetings to take place and networking opportunities to happen without it being so constricted. And then also this food is really good. But we're getting ready to get into our first little leg of the conference, so let's go check it out. We've got some venture capitalists coming to talk to us, and then some startup pitches and fast rounds. Yeah, let's pop out there and check it out. Okay guys, so we've got our first networking break happening, so I wanted to check in with you guys. Already awesome. The first little session was great. We had some really interesting stuff from the venture capitalist panel, at least interesting to me. Maybe this stuff is old news to you guys, but hearing people talk who are writing up to $1 million checks for startups for different types of funding, whether it's like Series A funding or whatever they're looking to get. It's just incredible to hear from a panel of folks who are discussing what they're looking for in entrepreneurs, not only on the positive side of things, but some red flags, what their due diligence process looks like, and what like services venture capitalists bring to the startups, which I didn't even realize. I kind of thought it was like, all right, you get the money, and then that's kind of the end of it. I didn't realize a lot of these venture capitalists, I mean, it makes sense. They're invested in your company. They're gonna wanna help you along with the processes. So a lot of them have networks that you can kind of utilize, or some of them even offer direct services or have kind of business partners that they've worked with in the past. So I just thought that was really cool stuff. And then we had the fast rounds, which if you're not really familiar with the fast rounds, it's essentially companies that provide services for startups doing little quick 5-minute pitches for the entrepreneurs that are here. I mean, at these conferences or these symposiums, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startup companies who are looking for help. So for this fast round, we're here for folks who can help you out with like clinical trials. You want to bring your medtech device to market, they're going to help you kind of go through that process. IP lawyers, or even just like general services like cash advancements, help finding office spaces or people services. So that was really interesting. And then what's always one of my favorite parts of this is the startup pitches. Things like spinal cord simulation through new electrode devices, AI nurses, furnaces, using alternate magnetic fields to heat up areas where you've recently had joint replacement to help with people having issues with infections there. I thought that one was really interesting. Just across the board, really fascinating stuff. And then also, just on the topic of these startup pitches, really, really cool. Project MedTech is giving out cash prizes at the end of the day. Everyone here has an opportunity to vote on who they think the best pitch is, and then a group of people are gonna walk away with some cash today. So that's really cool stuff. But we're gonna head back out there. Right now they're doing a big networking, like a 50-minute networking hangout session. People are out here mixing and mingling. And after that, we got some more finance stuff. They're gonna have a little panel discussing common finance mistakes. So we've got a ton more interesting stuff to go. Let's get back out there and check it out, huh? Guys, just a quick check-in, but I'm pretty sure this is the best part about these things. I don't know, everyone I talk to just makes it seem like the best part about this is how easy it is to kind of mix and mingle and networking, and I mean, you're just seeing it here. Yeah, all right, just want to check in before we hop off to the next part. Like I said, we're gonna get into some of the finance stuff again. Talk about some of the biggest mistakes that people see made in terms of how they're spending their money on startups. We got a fun panel discussion coming. Let's get into it. Alright guys, we got a pretty decent little lunch setup we've got going on here. Fairly awesome. Oh, let me crank this down for you guys a little bit. Pretty, I mean, look at that chicken up in this chicken salad we got going on. And then the real star of the show. I mean, for a conference sandwich, we're talking about a pretty delicious little tasty beast here. Let's give it an actual taste test here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, in terms of like conference catered food, that's legit. But we're not here for the food, we're here for the MedTech stuff. Let's talk about it. You guys saw the networking, I chatted about that with you guys. And then you just saw the panel on common money mistakes. Quick correction, I know I was saying I thought it was like finance guys that were gonna go up and chat about it. That panel was populated with more than just finance people. That was a consultant, you had a sales director, you had a president of a company and a CEO of a company, kind of just using more of their experience to tell us like, what mistakes have we seen? And the big overall takeaway from that was essentially do things the right way. Don't work fast and go quick and then make mistakes and work backwards for 6 months to fix those mistakes, because that's gonna cost you money. And then I really heard people harping on get your paperwork ready. If you wanna go through regulatory, great that you have an awesome product, but they need the paperwork that shows that. If you aren't building that paperwork throughout the entire process, when you get to that next step and find out that you now have to go back and retroactively make all this paperwork, it's just gonna be a time-wasting, costly experience. It's just not worth it. And now after lunch, we've still got a lot of fun to do. Let's go get into it. Check out some of these startup pitches. I'll check back in with you guys right before the closing ceremonies and the awards. Let's go have some fun. Okay guys, super quick check-in before we get to the award ceremony. It's some really great startup pitches. There was the fiber optic sensor shaping. There was preventing nerve damage during chemo, which I didn't realize that chemo can cause nerve damage to the extremities, tips of your fingers, tips of your toes. Just really all interesting stuff in the startup pitches. And then raising capital as an entrepreneur. On the panel, there was over $100 million of raised capital between the entrepreneurs who were on that. I thought that stuff was fascinating. And then finishing off with mergers mergers and acquisitions. Just another, fascinating piece of the puzzle, like being brought into other groups and understanding what that looks like from the people who are going out making decisions for like hospital groups or other bigger companies to acquire or merge with some of the startup companies. Just all around, what a day. And just to say real quick, it goes without saying that the panel discussions are great, but I feel like throughout today and yesterday, what I've heard the most is the networking and how great the networking is. I was talking yesterday to Ryan DeBoer, who's actually the CEO of the shape sensing company, who did a startup pitch. I was just talking with him, and he's like, at a lot of these events, you have to schedule time with people to be able to network or kind of sign up. There's a sign up sheet to be able to network with people. And being in a place where they have the rooms like we have here, that you can kind of just grab someone. You heard someone give up on a panel, and just grabbing them and bringing them into one of these offices and just peeling away. And a lot of that's just the culture that the Project MedTech team is creating. And I don't know, I think that's really cool. But we do have to go hit the closing ceremonies. I'm very interested to see who's gonna win the big bucks for the startup pitch competition. Yeah, let's go check out the closing ceremonies. Folks, so that was the award ceremony. We're here with Dwayne Mancini, CEO and founder of Project MedTech. And just to close it out, just curious on what your thoughts were, big takeaways from the event, or what your big highlights were from it.
Two things. One, this is, I love this event. I love the Midwest Showcase for what it is, but I love this event as well. It just taking companies through ideation and ending the day with an exit is just fascinating to hear all the different perspectives. Starting day 2 with a little bit more on the fundraising side is interesting, because on day 1 we're covering everything that goes into your fundraising strategy. Everything an investor would be interested in, what creates value in your company. We talk about that on day 1. And day 2 is a lot more on the execution, talking to some of the investors, hearing from the entrepreneurs who have raised money, and then ending the day with M&A discussions, with a lot of times is the goal of these startup companies. That's the really cool piece. The second piece that is going to go conference to conference is who's in the room, right? This is a smaller, more intimate environment, 150 to 175 people. If people are in the room and are open to networking, it makes the event just absolutely awesome. And today, through day 1 and even day 2, which day 2 is kind of there's a little bit of the emotional hangover, maybe also a hangover or two. And so in day 2, to see this many people still here, still networking, still really engaged. Yeah. It's just, you can't beat that. And so I can't say how grateful I am for the people who were in the room doing their part and just being open to networking. It was awesome.
I know you guys have more events in the pipeline. I know you guys are bringing this stuff back next year. We're on the LinkedIn page, the Project MedTech LinkedIn page, so I know people are already followers of that. But what are some other ways that people can find out when these events are going to be happening, and ways that they can follow along with kind of the Project MedTech just story?
Yeah, LinkedIn's great. Obviously, you're going to see a ton of our content there. The website is even better. That's going to be up live to date. It's a great place to go. You can see the events we do. The other thing to kind of check out and follow along with is the podcast, right? Project MedTech and Funding MedTech are our 2 live podcasts, and that's a really good way. It's a weekly podcast, and you can really get some good content. And generally, we actually have some updates within there on where the events are going to be. But the website is by far the best spot, and subscribing to our newsletter is also another great way to just kind of follow along with what Project MedTech is doing.
That's awesome. Well, Dwayne, thanks for having me. Do you want to close out the vlog?
Oh, you're damn right I do.